AIME is here to serve you another dish with a side of sales. You like that one, didn't you?
I do.
This is Wade Betz, my friends, the head of correspondent lending for Mpire. On top of that, a high-level, top-producing originator. Wade, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing good, man. I appreciate you having me in my own house.
Yeah. What are we cooking today?
All right, so those that know me, I talk about business like a cake. So we're gonna make a business cake with each layer being a different part of your business. In 2012, I ended up closing 101 million. It's like 513 units or something like that. Followed up that next year with 69 million. That still sounds great, except that I had 55 million of that by July. From there, I rather arrogantly thought, it's okay, I'm on pace for $40 million of purchase business. I guess that's fine. Nope, 20 million. So 101 to 69 to 20 million. It was very humbling. So when you ask, do I have people in my life that help support me? 100%. I kind of share with you my 4 Ds. Do it, delegate, defer, or delete. To stick with the cake metaphor, purchases is the cake, refinances are the icing on the cake. Okay, so if you focus on just the icing, your cake is not gonna be good. It might taste good for a second, but then you're gonna get diabetes and it's not gonna work out well, okay?
Oh no.
Yeah.
AIME is here to serve you another dish with a side of sales. You like that one, didn't you?
I do.
So I'm here with a special guest today. He is the epitome of a quote that I absolutely love. And the quote is, preparation breeds confidence. Being prepared and locked in and dialed in is what helps you get through every day, every week, every month, and every single year. Now, a lot of us have New Year's resolutions. And the reality is there's a day out there called Quitter's Day. It's the second Friday of every new year. And it's the day that people quit on the tasks that they had in hand. Well, I know how hard it is to plan your day, to map it out. But we have an individual here today that has figured it out throughout his journey and throughout his career. And he's here to teach you a bit about how to do it.
For sure.
This is Wade Betz, my friends, the head of correspondent lending for Mpire. On top of that, a high-level, top-producing originator. Wade, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing good, man. I appreciate you having me in my own house.
Thank you for having us in your house.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Wade, what are we cooking today?
All right, so those that know me, I talk about business like a cake. So people get confused on what makes a good cake. Have you ever had a cake with too much icing?
Yes.
It tastes like shit.
Awful.
Absolutely terrible. So we're gonna make a business cake, a 3-layer business cake, with each layer being a different part of your business, because so many people get confused about what the cake of their business actually is, and they like to focus on the icing, but the icing is not the cake. The cake is what tastes good, what fills you up, which puts food on your table, which provides for your family. So we're gonna make a rock solid cake. Hopefully it looks good, hopefully it tastes good, but you'll get the metaphor. So that's what we're gonna do today, and I think you'll really, really like it.
So I love that you said business cake, y'all. That's how you make sure the write-offs are available to you.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, you know, the analogies with you, I think are gonna be fantastic because you're so big into framework.
Yeah.
So as we get started here, can you walk us through, have you always, like since you were a kid, if you can go back, think about 12, 13-year-old Wade, is this the mindset you've had about prepreparation, about confidence? No. How did you grow into this kind of role? Into the human that you are?
Yeah, when I was younger, had a lot of energy and lacked focus. Thankfully, my father, wonderful role model, especially in business, and his work ethic really rubbed off on me. And frankly, the older I get, the more and more I'm like him in my day-to-day. As a matter of fact, I remember this would have been a couple of years ago during a refi boom. I was complaining to him about like how much I'm working. And he's like, well, how many hours you putting in? I was like, I don't know, like maybe like 70. The man laughed at me and said he remembers his first part-time job too. And literally he's like, boy, calls me boy, I've tracked my hours every week for years. And he's like, last year I didn't have a week of billable hours lower than 74. I was like, oh, that's okay. Well, I'm not gonna do that. So just for all you watching here, there's more to life than just working. So it's important to set up systems and structures so that you can have a good marriage, a good relationship with your kids, et cetera, hobbies. So I'm all for working really, really hard, but I'm going to work very efficiently.
I love that, man. And
Yeah.
I have some actually questions about that with your dad too, and that dynamic, because now you got me interested.
Yeah.
But where do we start here on this 3-layer business cake?
Business cake. There was a great quote. So we were hanging out in Orlando recently, and Dustin Owen was on stage. Dio, shout out to you if you're watching. And he said, if it's new, it's not true. If it's true, it's not new. So essentially, the cake that we're going to make is 80% of what you should be spending your time doing and building. And then the icing on the cake is the 20% of the new stuff to try. So we'll get into some of those things as we're building it, but that's what we're gonna start with. We're gonna make the batter, we're gonna pour it in each of the layers, pop it in the oven, and then when we come back, we're gonna stack them and then see where it takes us from there.
Perfect. All right, how do we get started here?
All right, batter first.
So as you're putting in the batter, my question to you with your dad, so it sounds like the effort, the focus, the discipline's coming from his side.
100%.
Now, one of the things you said is, he has it dialed in where he's like 74 hours, nothing less fillable for all of last year. And then you said something where you said, hey, I don't think I can do that just yet because I want to make sure the family and all that's incorporated. Where did that come from with the family, and how did you learn to prioritize that? Did you ever run into issues early on about working too many hours, and did that make an impact on your marriage and your life and everything else you had going on?
Look at you asking the hard questions.
I told you.
So that's a good question. Actually, I got started in 2006, and my career grew every single year until it didn't. Okay, so I think it's a very important to track our purchase volume as we're growing year after year, because to stick with the cake metaphor, purchases is the cake, refinances are the icing on the cake. Okay, so if you focus on just the icing, your cake is not going to be good. It might taste good for a second, but then you're going to get diabetes and it's not going to work out well. Okay?
Oh no.
Yeah. So what happened was in 2012, I ended up closing 101 million. It's like 513 units or something like that.
Yes.
Thought I was hot shit. Followed up that next year with 69 million. That still sounds great, except that I had 55 million of that by July.
So your second half was destroyed.
I just slumped into the end of the year. Rates increased like 1.5% overnight, and just the tap got turned off. And so from there, I rather arrogantly thought, it's okay. I'm on pace for $40 million of purchase business. I guess that's fine. Nope. 20 million. So 101 to 69 to 20 million. It was very humbling. Very humbling. My wife was pissed. Okay. So the point here, though, is that's what pushed me into coaching so that I can become more systematized and basically improve the business that I thought that I had. So don't let a frothy market disguise your bad business practices.
You gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, exactly. Because it makes a difference. If rates are super low, like, yeah, of course it's easy to do loans. But like when rates are normal, oh my God, like, or even right now, it's hard. So if you're closing volume right now, you're really putting in the work.
You know what I love about that too? It's the confidence piece, right? All of us as LOs, when you have that good month, that good year, you walk around like you're the best, most dialed in person there is. And I think there's a place for that, right? Because we need the confidence as we're talking to agents and we're building our own self-confidence. But there's a fine line between your ego, okay, and you actually being the best version of you and being the best at what you do. A lot of people lie to themselves. One of the worst things that I hear, and I know we talk to a lot of LOs, well, the last couple of years were bad, but if you would have saw my 2020, 2021, and look, you don't want to live in that past because that can kill you. If all you're thinking about is, if you would have sat there and said, I need to do over 100 million again, I need to do over 100 million again, you would have absolutely destroyed yourself from a confidence standpoint and just absolutely exited the space. How do you make sure you're not lying to yourself? Do you have a team around you that's holding you accountable, that's hitting you between the eyes? How does that work for you?
So first of all, number one, team needs to be at home. All right. So I'm blessed with a wonderful spouse who's really got my back, but it was hard. So like during those years when I was doing those refi booms, like I was neglecting my family, and like my kids were young, and I've got a lot of regret about how much time that I spent with them, away from them working. And my wife tries to make me feel better, like, oh, they were young, they don't remember. Well, I remember. And it is one of my biggest regrets in my life. So I vowed that I would rather have more team members around me and make less take home to have a better quality of life. So when you ask, do I have people in my life that help support me? 100%. I kind of share with you my 4 Ds recently too. So in my life, my work, I either do it, delegate, defer, or delete. So going backwards, like think about all the stuff in your life that you can delete.
Oh
Like
my God.
email newsletters, clean out your closet, your pantry, your car, your desk, relationships that are not good for your mental health. Just delete. And then defer, like mortgage guidelines and like the YouTube video that you need to watch or want to watch. Like that doesn't need to happen during the workday when you should be prospecting, but it needs to happen. For me, that's treadmill time. Gotta get rid of the cake belly that we're about to have. And then the second D is delegate. So there's tons of things that you can delegate, whether it's to a dedicated team member or to a virtual assistant or to a tech vendor, like a tech stack. So there's things that you can get off your plate. So do it. And then the things that you do personally, I don't know what your list is, but my list is talk to and meet with clients about financing, talk to and meet with partners about referral partnerships, lead and train and recruit for the team, and then manage the money, the P&L of the branch and personal family budget. That's it. Those 4 things.
It's 19 years, and I don't want to understate this, okay? It's 19 years of blood, sweat, and tears. And it's dramatic. I don't know about y'all, but we're in commission sales, and the highs and lows they're brutal.
Yeah.
They're brutal. And so if someone is giving you advice on, hey, skip the pain, I'm helping you skip the pain, this is the type of stuff that's easy to digest. He said, these are my 4 Ds. He's not giving you 15-page seminar quotes and notes, and he's saying these are 4 things you can do. Whenever you look at a problem, try and do these 4 things. Thank you for that framework. I appreciate it. Now, with our first setup here,
Right.
What are we doing here now?
So we're going to go over and get some eggs and the butter that I've already melted, and then we're going to mix it all up, and then we're going to get it into the pan.
Perfect. All right, so we got the butter here now. We got the eggs, all of that mixture going into here, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, what's the next step from here?
So we're going to put them all in. We're going to mix it all up and until it's not lumpy, and then we're going to get that batter into the pan.
Awesome. How many eggs we're using?
So doing this, I watched some YouTube videos about how to make box cake gourmet cake.
Okay.
So you noticed I put milk instead of water or oil. I'm using butter instead of the oil, and I'm putting 1 extra egg than the recipe requires. So we're going to see if it's true that is the hacks that make it a delicious, homemade yet gourmet cake.
You know what's crazy is you said you just looked this up on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay. Yet you came in here. Look at the confidence he has, y'all, walking into this, right? Because he gets it. He understands process. He understands frameworks. He understands trying new things. It doesn't faze him at all.
Yeah.
It's just cool to see it. And I get it. It's even something like small like this. You're just like, cool, let's try it. Kids, we're trying this tonight. Here we go. Let's see how this turns out.
Well, I know how the buttercream icing tastes, and so it's going to be delicious regardless.
That's amazing. Thank you, sir. Now, fill us in. Your upbringing, you grew up in Louisiana.
Not just Louisiana, like New Orleans.
New Orleans, correct. Juvenile, all that back in the day,
Exactly.
I assume.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you were listening to that Growing Up 400-Degree album. That's where I spent a lot of my time listening to. Now, your family, can you tell us, your mom, dad, where are they from?
So my dad is from the little appendix part of Missouri, little bitty town, like 1 type of street light type of a place. He ended up going to LSU to play football. And by play football, I mean he had a jersey with 0 grass stains on it, okay? So he did that, and then when he graduated, moved to New Orleans. My mom's from New Orleans. And so we grew up in the French Quarter. And when I was 10, I don't know if I shared the story with you, but okay, to everybody. When I was 10, we ended up moving out to the suburbs because, I kid you not, a local voodoo priestess sacrificed a live goat on our street corner.
Oh my God.
Exactly. So my parents were like, maybe we shouldn't have little kids down in the French Quarter. So moved out to the suburbs, did my entire middle school, high school, etc. And then when Katrina hit, a lot of the nicer properties down in the French Quarter were selling for pennies on the dollar, and we picked one up, and we've been there ever since. And it is very fun to go back.
I see some of the videos you post.
Oh my God, yeah.
That you're always going down there. What was that culture like growing up? You know, a lot of people don't really understand it or know it. Especially New Orleans is a very like if you're from New Orleans, people know, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not like you have to guess. What was that culture like? What do you think it has done to you and just your upbringing and how you treat the way you do things now, like the hats and all the other fun stuff you do?
It is pretty fun. So it keeps you on your toes. It gets you really comfortable with costumes. I mean, even this Mardi Gras, my mom was making fun of me. She told the story to the table at dinner one night, how when I went to college, I was stunned to hear that the rest of the country just didn't get off for Mardi Gras. Like, this is not a holiday that everyone gets nationwide. No, it's not. It's very location specific, but it was awesome. I mean, we'd go to the Jazz Fest all the time. Even to this day, because we live in the French Quarter, like my mom will text me some like pretty hysterical photos, like during the workday. I'm like, Mom, you can't send me that stuff during the day, okay? Like, I need you to, like after 5 o'clock. Okay,
I'm trying
please.
to stay focused.
Yeah,
right now.
please.
This
You
is my
can't-
defer moment
Yeah,
right now.
you can't be doing this. Exactly.
So that falls for the defer. You know, so you do some of the things, and I'm thinking, like culturally speaking, one of the coolest things you showed me was your birthday videos. You have this birthday hat that you're always wearing, and you're sending a video to clients, agents, I'm sure everybody in your network. And then you also have the turkey hat that you've done, New Year's. You have all these different things that you incorporate into your business. How do you keep that consistent? Where did that ideas come from when it comes to implementing culture into your business? The word culture gets thrown around way too much, and I don't think people really understand it. You embody it, you envision it. So where does that creativity and fun come from?
So the birthday videos, that's a thing that I only have done the last few years. And I remember, actually, Kyle Draper, shout out to you. This is your fault, by the way. So I was at a conference years ago, and I was talking to Kyle, and I was like, I don't post on people's personal Facebook page walls. I send them a private message. And he's like, hold on, bro. Let me get this right. Are you telling me you go to private message them a written happy birthday message? I'm like, yes. And he goes, dude, you're already doing video. Just film it and send it to them. Like, I don't know why I didn't think of this. The very next day, cold turkey, every single day, people get a birthday video from me. Every single day, unless you're on my VIP list, and then you get a phone call. So I made 2 phone calls today, and then I sent 8 birthday videos before you got here.
What makes your VIP list? Now you got me intrigued. What's a VIP list?
So very important people, obviously. Doesn't have to be business. It can be friends, it can be family. These are the people that are the most important people in your life, so you need to love on them. Now, should personal friends and family members be responsible for some closings per year? Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. I joke, if you see this, wife, I'm joking. I joke with my wife that she's responsible for 4 closings a year for me. And this was last year, she got me only 3. And I told her at the end of the year I was going to put her on a PIP.
Performance improvement plan.
Performance improvement plan. And she was like, haha, you can sleep on the couch. I'm like, oh, I'm just kidding. It's like, you know
what? I'll back off.
Yeah, exactly right. So VIPs are important people. So like the phone call I made today, one of them was to my Windsor rep. Shout out to Windsor. And then my other one was to a woman that I've worked with for years. She started with me as my LOA, and then she turned into like ops manager, and then she's now heading the funding department of our company. So like she's very important to me, and she's an awesome person. So of course she got a phone call. Super proud of her. So I've known her since she was quite young in the business. So it was great.
You know, I love that, and I saw the look. You know, hopefully y'all can see the look on his face. So when he goes by Winning with Wade, right? And yeah, it was right there, the branding.
Bam.
And it's not just when he says Winning with Wade. If you win too, he's excited. You didn't see his face right now, but when he said how excited I was and I was proud of her, you should have seen his face light up, and I got to see it firsthand. So, like, you gave me some goosebumps right now.
Yeah, man.
To care for someone else like that, to watch them win, like that's not an easy place for people to get to, right? It's really hard because you want yourself to do well, and then it's hard sometimes to not compare.
No.
And you just don't. It doesn't.
Comparison is the thief of joy. So like the whole slogan, just in case you're winning with Wade, you'll either win with me or because of me, but I'll make sure that you win.
I love that.
Yeah, I know, right?
What a good
So
saying.
like,
What a good dude, huh?
Like most of the people that work with me, like we've been together for over a decade. And so it's like, no, you can't have a revolving door of people. And just to be clear, all you owners out there too, It's not their job to stay with you, it's your job to keep them. So if you're not delivering value, they're going to leave you, and that is your problem, not a their problem. Okay, and there we go.
No,
we can leave it at that.
No, listen. That's at the end of the day, like that's the case, right? We as the broker owners, and I can't even say that anymore. Actually,
Yeah, look at you.
It's a little weird. I forgot, but you're right. I mean that is the idea. That's even for me today, as president in the role that I'm in. You're right. It's not my job. Like they don't own the company. Right. They're not the ones that if something does happen, they're not going to reap the biggest of rewards. They're also not taking on that risk. It's not your job. Like you can't force them to stay. You got to do the right things and make sure you're building the company that fits the certain individual. And that's the best way to do it.
And people are going to leave, frankly, but I choose to view that as I poured into them enough that they can go spread their wings and go do something different, and we should be celebrating that, frankly.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Where are we at next with this?
All right, so we need to prep this. So that's going to take a little bit of work here. Don't laugh at this. I literally saw this on a arts and crafts cooking part of this, because those are circular tins, and these are rectangular shapes. So apparently, sorry.
You're fine.
Apparently, how this is supposed to go is you fold them, and then cut them in a circle like we're at Arts Craft. I know that's probably terrible for the audio here.
Not too bad. He said it's fine.
Yeah. So we're going to do this.
Okay.
And fold it again one more time. So now we have a point. And now I need to measure from the center to here. And now I've got roughly where I need to cut it.
What? This gonna work?
We're about to find out, aren't we?
Yeah.
Thank you, assistant.
Yes, chef.
Yeah. And now we got perfect serve. Bam.
I just learned something.
Bam.
Did you see that?
Thank you, YouTube.
Thank you too.
Exactly.
That's.
In case you're wondering,
Look at that.
bam. Would you hand me the other few tins, please?
Yes, chef.
All right, perfect. We're going to put those there. Then we're going to spray the inside. All right, the spray's right behind you. You give this a whirl. This is going to make a gigantic mess, so we'll just have to deal with it.
You know, I won't lie. For some reason, I thought it was going to just go ballistic over here. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
All right. Thank you. And now we're simply going to pour the batter in. If you really want to get technical, you can weigh it out and make sure they're perfectly even. We're going to eyeball it because that's how I roll. All right. So we're going to go here.
Oh, man.
You're going to go here.
Look at that.
And then we're going to go here. All right, perfect. Sink behind you if you don't mind.
Sir.
And then there we go. We got 3 pies now. You bang it to get the air bubbles out, so every recipe has its quirks. We're going to put them in the oven, and then we will come back and, they all go in. All go in.
Make sure you put them all in there.
Yeah. I'll put them all in, and then we'll come back and we will get them all decorated once they cool.
All right, we have them. Here we go.
Absolutely.
They look fantastic. What's the next plan here?
So the next step is we actually have to lop off the top little rounded dome. I don't know if you can kind of see it, but they kind of crest right there like that. So you have to make them level. That way they stack much nicer and don't topple over.
Okay.
All right. It also means we get to snack on the cake that we trim off.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Perfect. My trainer's going to kill me.
Yes. That's why I got the steps in this morning. So we're just going to kind of saw off this top.
So super thin right there. It looks like nothing too crazy.
Oh yeah, it's just like the little crust of it.
Okay.
And now this is flat. That'll stay pretty good. And we got another one.
Perfect.
There we go. And then third.
Look at that. That is perfect.
Bam. Okay. Okay, so now we have our cakes. The next thing to really do is get the icing prepared.
Okay.
So that way we can have buttercream icing with the cake. Now remember, the icing is not the cake.
Correct.
The cake is the business part, the things that really drive sales and revenue.
Okay, so
All right.
I want to dive into that too now, the sales and revenue, and then we'll talk about the icing as we go through. So now to getting the icing ready, what's your next step here?
To get the icing ready, we're going to put the sugar, butter first, which is room temperature, then the sugar, then the vanilla, then the milk. I don't know if you can see on the card there, handwritten from Mom, so Mom's recipe.
Wow,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Don't lose track of your kitchen supplies. All right, so we're going to do this.
Wade, while you're, as you start to mix that here, I do have a more of a personal question for you.
Yeah, shoot.
I just love going down this path, and it's stuff we're not always thinking about, but I believe life is a lot about perspective, and that's what changes you as a human being. Is when you go through situations or you hear about situations, your perspective changes on life. And so, throughout this conversation, obviously, you talk a lot about your family and the impact, and your dad and what he's done in terms of the role he's played in your life. If you're sitting there back in Missouri, I want you to think about this for a second. And you're going down the street, and you're the version of you are today, and you see your 13-year-old dad, all right? And you have the chance to play catch with your 13-year-old dad. You are who you are today, and you can't tell him that you're his future son, but you get the chance to play catch. What would you tell him? What would you tell your dad? What are 2 or 3 pieces of advice you'd give him? What would you talk to him about?
I mean, it's an inside joke, but I tell them don't tell wooden leg jokes on first dates.
No, I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but it sounds like you'd laugh. Yeah.
Yeah. I would, real talk, actually, I got the perfect thing because you just put me on the spot with that question.
Yeah.
I would tell them don't sell real estate.
Wow.
I'm telling you, we have lots of money talks in my family. We're very open with it. Every November we sit down, we talk estate planning and insurance and all kinds of stuff. So we're like really on the same page with all this. And his biggest financial regret ever was he sold multiple properties and he regrets it to this day.
So just don't do it.
Don't sell real estate unless you can, unless you have to. He's like the biggest financial mistakes I ever made were selling buildings and stuff like that.
You know, I love that. Like, could you imagine? It's like, that's the tip. You guys are playing catch. You're like, all right, listen.
And this is weird.
I
know houses cost $30,000 right now, but don't sell any real estate.
But it is like, even at that age, like hearing something like that is impactful. You know, like that's something you will never forget. Because there are moments in my life where you go back and you just remember the piece of advice that you got. And I love that that's the path you go down, especially because it's like, you're also trying to heal some of his pain. You know what I mean?
I mean, we've all been there because most of us that have owned real estate, I mean, you look back at what those properties are selling for now, and you're like, oh my God, if I could have just held on to it. Yeah, exactly.
I've been there quite a few times, unfortunately.
I know.
Thank you for that, Wade. I appreciate you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
What is our next step here?
So we're gonna put this real quick. Gonna be a little bit noisy. We're gonna whip this butter just to kind of get it, spread it around.
All right, Wade. While you're making the icing,
Yeah.
You ready for a taboo question?
Go for it.
Are you ready for this?
Lay it on.
Correspondent lending, my friend.
Oh, that's my jam.
You said you are the head of correspondent lending, and obviously you know it is a touchy subject for some. What's that mean? Can you just walk us through it? I know there's a lot of people out there that don't know what that is. What's that process like? What does your day-to-day actually look like?
So I'm a massive fan of that platform type. It gives me all the flexibility that I was used to in retail. with all of the flexibility with the choices that I love in wholesale. So I get the best of both worlds. No pun intended, but I get to have my cake and eat it too.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So it is wonderful. There's a couple of really key benefits. You know, bar paid comp isn't an issue with VA. You can do single premium finance mortgage insurance, which is great for appraisal gap and realtor commission gap strategies. You can do lender credits. You have the ability to possibly earn higher basis points if that's your jam. So there's just all these real positives with not a lot of negatives. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely some financial risk with having warehouse lines and the whole after the fact with getting them sold off and post-closing conditions and buyback risk. You know, those are real things. But it's been an amazing journey for me to the point where I frankly wouldn't work at a company that didn't have a correspondent platform.
I love the way you shared that. So we bring on a lot of retail LOs on my side of things. And yeah, they definitely are more accustomed to it from a pricing standpoint. Now, what do you say? There's people out there, right? And I understand, let me be clear about this. I understand regulation-wise, it's looked at differently, right?
Yep.
From like a broker, correspondent, all the different things that you can be labeled as. But there's people out there that say, like, you're not a broker, right? When you have this product, and I understand the regulation side of things, but I'm like you. It's like getting access to all these different platforms. I'm still using the lenders. I'm still using underwriting. I'm still the risk side of things. Like, what do you say to people like that?
Honestly, I'd say who the hell cares? You run your business how you want. I'll run it how I want, as long as we're both staying compliant with how we have to run it. Who the hell cares? You do you. But I like the flexibility of the correspondent platform.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for being real about that.
Yeah.
A lot
cares?
of people don't want to talk about it. You're like, I don't care. You know, I'll just go through it.
Like I get the passion that some people, and it's like,
Yeah.
like I love brokering, loved it. I like correspondent more. But to each their own. There's no wrong answer here, guys. Just stay profitable and stay compliant. That's it.
God, you're good.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so simple.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna turn this on. Audio is gonna probably be a little bit loud, but we're gonna get this going here. This is buttercream, and then we're making a mess.
No, we're good.
That's why the maids are coming tomorrow.
We'll give that a second.
Yeah.
All right, Wade. Now is the fun part.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna start stacking this.
Yep.
And putting the icing on top. So here's what I want to know about. One, let's get it going.
Yep.
Two, you keep talking about the 3 layers. 80%.
3 layers. Yep.
What does 80% mean? What does that mean for LOs? Give us some tangible things that we should be focusing on.
So there's 3 main components to a business cake. Now, they could be in any one of these orders, but the 3 pillars of your business: realtors, past client database, and VIPs. Realtors, past client database, VIPs. The perfect percentage, even though these are perfectly proportioned, the perfect percentage is 40% realtor, 40% past clients, 20% VIPs. Now, that's not how my business looks. I'm actually 65% past client.
Wow.
Minimum.
Okay.
Every year, because I have great things like My Home IQ and CoreLogic and wonderful retention tools, Monitor Base. Like, there are some great AIME partners that you could call. There's more than the ones I just mentioned.
Thanks for the plug.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to have a tech stack. So make no mistake, if you're not staying in front of your past clients with the retention departments of these massive servicers, like, they're not your clients anymore. They're that other company's customers. So you have to stay in front of them. So that layer of that cake, that past client cake, massively important. So you got to do different things for your database to stay in front of them.
I love that, man.
I know.
Thank you. That's so good. There's your framework on what your focuses should be.
Yeah.
Now, what are we doing here?
So we're going to put a little dab there so that the cake doesn't slide. And we're just going to put this first layer right on top.
Okay.
All right. We're going to take a big old scoop. We're going to put the icing on.
Perfect.
Yep, exactly.
Look at that.
I know.
That icing, by the way, y'all, is you have to try it. I mean, we're giving the recipe. You're cool with that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mom's icing recipe.
So we're getting Mama Betz ice cream recipe here right now. So thank you for that. I appreciate you very, very much, because it was they do it for Christmas cookies too, and it is fantastic and the perfect mix. So to my wife Lauren, we're gonna have to make this. To my trainer Aaron, we are not.
My bad, bud.
At all. All right, we're
Don't
not. Don't
don't
worry.
at me.
Yeah. So, all right, we have this coming up here. All right, so now layer number 2, the past client layer, right? In this perfect cake and perfect build out. Outside of the things we talked about earlier, what else are you doing to stay in front of your past clients?
Ooh, past clients. So daily birthday calls. You call the day before their birthday. So before you got here, I made 8 phone calls to clients having birthdays tomorrow. So on Mondays, I call Monday and Tuesday birthdays. Tuesdays, I call Wednesdays. Wednesdays, I call Thursdays. Thursdays, I call Fridays. Fridays, I call Saturday and Sundays. Every single day without fail. And I've got 200 plus birthdays every single month. They also get a handwritten birthday card. Shout out to my wife who helps me with those, just FYI. I put a postscript in the bottom of that says, shoot me an email at, and I give my email address to let me know if you win, because I put a $1 scratch off in there.
That's so good.
Yeah, the guy at 7-Eleven thinks I have a gambling addiction, but it's okay. But it's great because when they do inevitably email, not all of them, but about half do, to let me know if they win, they typically use their best email address, and then you cross-reference that with the CRM to keep
sure
your
the database
keep
is
your
up to
database
date.
up to date.
It's the little stuff, y'all.
Yeah.
It's the little stuff that matters. It's this is what it is, right? Like making sure we can get the email updated, and you're just doing little things. It's $1.
Yeah,
He's
it's
not
$1.
breaking the bank. It's $1. But John, he has so many past clients. You're right.
Hundreds.
Because it's 19 years of work that he's
Right.
talking to you about. So even if you're brand new, start the habits right now. That's what he's getting at. He is showing you his pain and saying, don't go through the pain as long as I went through it. Take these tips, leverage them, use them. Just use my passion. It's just, I can't stop talking about past clients because so many people keep missing it. We talked about it this morning on our call. Don't prejudge. Don't be the reason. Don't think it doesn't make sense. How do you know? Have a conversation. Check in. Say hello. Happy birthday. Happy anniversary of your home closing.
Well,
whatever
hold
it
on.
is.
Anniversaries, they need to be annual financial reviews, not annual mortgage reviews.
Perfect.
Because people with the 2% rate don't think they need a mortgage review, but they need a financial review. And those financial reviews are more about referring out your partners than it is about getting you direct business. So estate planning attorney referrals, financial planner referrals, insurance second opinions. Like every time I do an annual financial review, I'm giving out 2 or 3 referrals. And if you think that doesn't come back in spades, nah, you're mistaken. Do I get a refinance out of it directly? No, not usually, but it's okay.
It's just a conversation.
If you don't follow up with your clients post-closing, you don't care. You're a transactional loan officer. If you want to be relational, you'll survive. If you want to be a transactional one, you're just not going to make it. So there you go.
Truth hurts.
Yeah, it does. All right, so now we have past clients. We need to talk a little bit about realtors as well. So there are people out there that do realtor business better than I, but it's got to be a pillar. So me personally, I do a lot of CE classes and teaching, but I didn't start off that way. Like I started off hosting a monthly event because I'm supposed to host or attend 1 to 2 events per week, but I host an event per month, and it was educational in nature. 1 to 11 people would show up, and I did that for years, and that led into an introduction to a title company who had had the school, but not the content, and I was an approved instructor that had the content, but no school. So we kind of got married, if you will, and that worked out very well. During the 2 years of COVID, I taught 66 classes and got in front of 891 agents during those 2 years. And now that morphed into standing invitations at certain real estate offices each month to come teach in their offices. So that's my predominant strategy for networking with agents. And then of course, you got to do Tuesday updates, and because you're auditioning for those listing agents. With the NAR settlement, listing agents become more important. So if you're not making a good impression, you are missing the boat.
And just the little touch points too, right? Like within the CRM, whatever it is that you're using, within your POS, or LOS, I should say, whatever it is that you're using is the biggest deal. To make sure that you're constantly in front of these agents and updating them throughout that process, listing agent particularly, and list sell side title. I love making sure sell side title's up to date. It's my favorite thing in the worord because they don't see a lot. You know how many of them have been like, John, wow, we don't get updates like this. In the back of my head, I'm like, it was automated.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't even do anything.
Guys, the reality is the bar out there is really low. It just is. Our peers, they don't do anything besides the bare minimum. So just do a little bit more than the bare minimum and you will stand out.
Like for instance, the bare minimum is closing on time,
Yeah.
closing fast.
Yeah, that's not a value
So
proposition.
don't, exactly. So last layer.
Last layer is going to be
VIPs.
VIPs, all right? So VIPs are very important people. So for me, you just heard me tell you my predominant realtor strategy is teaching CE classes that I partner with title companies. So guess who dominates my VIP list? The business development reps at title companies. Now, financial planners are also a massive part of that. I'll tell you, for some, like I've got some team members in my branch, they dominate new construction. So their VIP list is basically a builder list. So there could be lots of things. VIPs don't have to just be business. Like, so my wife is a VIP, the VIP, but there's other things that can be on there. So like personal trainers, I know that's weird. They talk to everybody that knows everyone's business. Same thing with your hairstylist ladies. Like, they know everything. They can be amazing referral partners. So VIPs are just people that are important to you. You have to stay in front of them. You have to touch them once per month. And that cake, that layer of the cake can really fill you up really nicely. So the three: realtors, past clients, VIPs. And you do different things for each of the different pillars. But you got to do something. And I would tell you or encourage you, level those relationships and give your best to your best.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now we're on the last step here, 20%.
Right.
Icing. This is the stuff that people think matters the most, yet we know it's the 80% of the actual building of the cake, not the icing. However, the 20% is important, but what does this 20% mean to you of the icing?
So I think the 20% varies depending on who you are and what your habits are, et cetera. So like for me, the 20% is the distractions. So the things that take up time but don't necessarily draw immediate revenue. Social media comes to mind, honestly. Not that is not a good idea to build a personal brand. I certainly have a personal brand. I've worked at it for years. The people that generate more business from social than I do, frankly, have just been doing it longer. So if you are thinking of going into social and thinking you're going to get immediate ROI, no, you're most likely not going to be doing that. But if you do it over time consistently, suddenly you're an overnight success story, year 7, 8, or 9 into your journey. So social media can be a massive distraction, but like paying for leads, nothing against Facebook advertising, but that's a massive time waste. There's lots of things that people get confused that they think are the cake that are not the cake. So, but what those things are going to be unique to each person. Yeah. So like you don't have to be militant with your schedule. I start my day the same exact way every single day. It's super boring. It's usually a 4 a.m. wake up, workout, come get ready for the day, help my wife with getting the kids ready for school. Still, shout out to the wife. You carry the load for sure. But at the end of that, take one of the two to school. On the way back from school, I have a morning Zoom that I do with all the new to the business loan officers in my branch. I can then transition directly into a breakfast club type a la Carl White, but for my branch, where we go over the theme of the day and we talk about anything that they have going on in their business that I can help with. And then I shift right from there into an ops meeting with my ops team. And then at that point, it's 9:30, and now I'm hopping right into my power hour until 11. And then at 11 to 12, that's when I react to things in the morning. So if you call me in the morning, you are not catching me live. Even right this second, my phone's on Do Not Disturb because I'm supposed to be in my power hour. But yeah, like you don't catch me. 11 to 12, I react. Text messages, emails, phone calls, and then I go into my afternoon, which that's when it devolves into chaos a lot of times. Okay, but if I get to win the morning, then I've won the day.
All right. So Wade, we have it done,
Yeah.
my friend.
Oh yeah.
Now it's time for the best parts.
Oh yeah.
To try it.
Sample of the
Yes.
spoils of war.
I am ready.
Exactly. All right, let's get a plate here and this. And we're just going to go for it here.
Yes, sir. Oh my God. This is the best.
Ta-da!
I love doing these. All right. This is the third one, and it's just been fantastic. Todd, Bitter, yes, you. We'll see you tomorrow. All right. Look at this, Todd. We love you, buddy.
Business cake, buddy.
Business cake, my friend. Ready, Wade?
Yes, absolutely. think if there was a fourth layer, it would be answer your phone. Dude, right?
That's fantastic. That's a dessert that you got to make. You have to, Lauren, babe, we have to try this. This is super important we try this. That's really good, Wade. That's super good. Robert, you got to try it. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for being part of this. Wade Betz, one of the most confident, prepared human beings. But like we said earlier, preparation breeds confidence.
For sure.
What are you doing to stay prepared? He's taught us a lot about his life. He taught us a lot about his business. It's just really easy when you have the right framework, building the right business cake. Remember, 80% is the cake itself. What are you doing to build your business and grow it? The other 20% are the little nuances. Don't get distracted and stay focused. Wade, thank you very much, sir.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Take care.
Yeah, man.